All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to I actually forgot my number, week number 132, Open Live Q&A. My name is Mr. McLogan, and I am your host again for this week, just like I've been for the last 132 weeks, here to go ahead and answer your questions as we get ready for another upcoming school year. And if you guys do have any math questions or anything else you want me to be able to help you out, I do have a couple problems that I'm going to be heading over. Actually, didn't even check my account. Yeah. That will be checking in on tonight that you guys can go to brianmclogan.com/Q&A. If you just have some general comments or general questions, you can obviously just go ahead and put them down in the chat over here, because that's basically what I am looking at already. So yes, it is on Little Artist. And what question can I ask? Really kind of any question, typically mostly math questions, and I answer those kind of questions. But yeah, it's I just kind of an open live Q&A. So if you have math questions, you have anything about going on, preparing for upcoming school year, or, in general about your courses or studying, I'm always happy to see what I can do to offer any advice to help you out. And what's up, Akmal Reda? Gotcha. Hopefully I was all right on that. And Ashanin. And let's see, Techno New, how you doing? And Skull Gummy, thank you so much for you guys joining in tonight. And Justin, good to have you back on. It's been a while, so I'm happy to see you back in on the live stream. Thank you so much for showing up. All right, so now we are kind of into that tail end, right? So it's getting into those points where we need to start thinking about the school year. And I know not everybody has the beginning of the school year, coming up like we do at least in Florida, where I'm at, where my kids are going back, I think the first or second week in August, we are returning back to school. And so the main thing I just want to kind of like, I always kind of treat it back, like when I go on my vacation, usually like midsummer, it's like once we return, it's like kind of like already that back to school is like thinking about it. Right. So, I would say, now should be the time that, when you're trying to approach in like around 30 days, I would recommend that, you start pulling out some of the stuff that you've been working on or that you did last year, and just start to get yourself a little like refreshed, and prepared for the upcoming year. Cause I think from what I've seen from a lot of students, talking about is, these last couple of years have been pretty difficult, obviously with COVID and missing instruction and having online instruction. So I think just having trying to get yourself with a decent, or at least a solid, kind of foundation entering into the year is going to give you, I think, a little bit of boost and a little bit of kind of help that, that sometimes we, in other years we might have been able to get by, but I think sometimes with this, there's like kind of so much ground that a lot of teachers are kind of feeling they have to cover, that things are going a little bit quicker and faster than a lot of students I think are ready and prepared for. So I think whatever you can do on your own before you go back to school is definitely going to benefit you. Wow, is back to school date related to weather? No, I think ours is just, why is it not showing up? Oh, it's just been, no, it's not usually for the weather. I think, excuse me, I'm tired. No, I think it's like, the second week of school. That's just kind of where it is in Florida. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, who is it? Does anyone know what math stuff I can expect in 8th grade? No, but I bet if you go ahead and take a look at 8th grade math books, I guarantee there's some that are available online that you can kind of look through, and just kind of maybe familiarize yourself with some of the content from there. And I'm sure there's some other content. I do not teach specifically 8th grade content. There's a lot of stuff that's on my channel that I have taught that I would assume is probably pretty relatable. But yeah, it might not be directly related to that. And I saw Gabe. Well, hey, Gabe, good to have you on. How are you? I hope you're enjoying your summer. I am. This week was terrible. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you got COVID. Yeah, it just seems like more and more variants, and just keeps on going from there. So it's kind of crazy with the COVID. And I know obviously, at least in Florida, this is kind of our this is our big season. Excuse me. Sorry. This is our big season where, obviously COVID's going to be very transmissible because a lot of people are inside, at least in Florida, because it's like so hot. And, in the last couple of years, it's usually the cases are like creeping up as we are going back to school. So it kind of brings into that frustration as, students are getting ready to go back to the classroom, and then students are getting COVID, missing school, and all that kind of stuff. And it just, it can be a bummer, from on there for sure. But hopefully this is something that is unfortunately in a little bit more familiar territory, but something that is, I think, also something that is a little bit easier to overcome and to kind of deal with, how COVID is going to be impacting our learning and the, the classroom setting and the instructional demand. So, thankfully, this isn't at least the first year that we're going through about it. So we do have something to rely on based on what worked and what didn't work in the past. And so hopefully we're getting a little bit better with that as we get into this new school year. Because, unfortunately, I remember when COVID first came around, I was like, oh, man, it's like, this isn't going to last. Like this is, this will just be a little blip on the radar and we'll be done with it. And then, now, you're looking like, 3 years later, and it's like, wow, it's, or coming up on 3 years later, it's just like, wow, it's still impacting our day-to-day life, and has changed a lot, with the educational landscape. And then obviously, just in all of our lives. Miko says, I'm an engineering student, still didn't understand the calculus deeply. What should I do? Well, I would highly recommend at least speaking to you. I never took any engineering classes, so I'm not sure, what, besides the calculus that you're using inside your classes, what more foundational stuff that you're really going to need. So, I definitely, speak with I think your teacher can probably speak a little bit more directly on that. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are taught in some classes that we don't really need to, that, are not necessarily needed. There might be needed for you to continue on to the next calculus class and to the next calculus class. But when it gets into actually application, it's not going to be something that's going to be necessarily need to be done. So I don't want to sugarcoat and say oh, if you don't understand something, that's okay. But I also don't want you to overwhelm yourself if there's some certain concepts that are I'm not really sure, I don't have a good grasp on this. If that's going to be something that's going to be necessary for you as an engineering student or not. I'm not sure about that. I got my textbook out. Awesome. Yes, I do have a lot of playlists on definitely for calc, and I have a lot more looking into making actually some more calc videos coming up this year as well. So hopefully that helped out. Yes, I quizzed myself and I got 4 out of 6. Well, 4 out of 6 questions wrong. Well, that's okay. It's all right. Beginning of the year, getting ready for upcoming this year. You got it. Your video has been highly helpful in preparation for pre-calc honors. Well, awesome. I have 1 or 2 specific problems that I've been stuck on. One has to do with the logarithm systems of equations and fx. Well, if you want to go and submit them to brianmclogan.com/Q&A, I'll be more than happy to see what I can figure out for you if you want me to do anything tonight. Does anyone know the following negative sequence? Well, it's not going to be an arithmetic sequence. And it doesn't look like it's a geometric. Looks like you're cubing things. So 0. Does anyone know what following negative sequence is? It looks like those are all going to be square numbers times a -1. So something around in that regard. But I'm not sure what else exactly you are asking from this. I'm in grade 7 and I know how to do long division of polynomials. Is that good? Yeah, I would definitely say that. I would say there's students that were in my pre-calculus class that were seniors and juniors and sophomores in high school, and they still could not do long division of polynomials. So I think that is a great start for you. Good job. This year I was really stressed with math. There's a horrible, I cannot. This year I was really stressed with math. It was horrible and I cannot explain it. Yeah, I totally get it. I think, these last couple of years have been really, really difficult for a lot of students, especially those students that, struggled with math, that kind of really need that in-person instruction, and then kind of take that or not have that and have to rely on, online instruction. I mean, I can tell you as myself as a student, I really, really would have struggled, really badly would have struggled with trying to learn math online. So it's not an ideal format, I think, for a lot of students, especially those that do not have a highly favorable experience or understanding with mathematics. This was definitely not playing into your card. So hopefully, this is still going to give you some opportunities to, or hopefully this year it's going to give you some more opportunities for in-person instruction, and you can maybe like build off of that. And also, maybe some time to kind of go back and, go back and look through some of the content that was a struggle for you, and really kind of, see if you can, kind of get yourself caught up a little bit and of learning that material. And cause I think that can only help you as you move forward. And I think that's, a lot of times that brings into that frustration, right? But like not being able to get over that hump. But once you're able to get over that hump, I wouldn't say it's smooth sailing, but it definitely does make a lot of things in your life feel a lot easier. Once you've kind of been able to, I like to say like crack the kind of code, like, oh, that's what I needed. Like that was like the missing piece that is now going to help me understand a whole bunch of other material and on from there. Well, awesome. Congrats for you. Is I'm really behind math compared to all my classmates, and I feel like I'm going to be hard for me to keep up next year. How do you think I can maintain a successful grade? Well, that is a great question. And kudos to you for, just kind of acknowledging like, hey, you're behind, right? So, how hard is it? I don't think it's going to be that hard. And all right, coming from my math teacher, right? So what I mean by that is like, if you're willing, and what I mean by hard is not saying hard, you're not going to have to put in work, but I'm saying hard, meaning like you're not capable of doing it. Hard being you're not capable of doing it, right? So I think if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to get help, if you're willing to, set aside time to be able to get yourself caught up, you can definitely do it. You can definitely maintain a high grade. You can definitely get yourself caught up, right? But it's within reach, but it's going to take, it's going to take determination. It's going to take, you putting in, some hours. It's going to take time when you're not going to want to do it. You're going to have to, sit down and do that work. It's going to take consistency. It's not just something you're going to want to do, or not something you can do for like the first 4 weeks of school and then just stop doing it. Right. So you have to be consistent. It's going to be something that, I want you to kind of like make a goal and be like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to approach it. And, and I'm going to get help where I need to. I'm either going to ask people for help that, I probably never would have asked them before. I'm going to go to my teacher, make sure I get help, maybe go to my old teacher, and see if there's anything else that, that they can help me out with. Like, you just got to be willing to learn and to improve. And sometimes it makes you vulnerable, right? Sometimes it's embarrassing. You're like, I'm asking for help. I feel stupid, and everything else. But guess what? Like that's part of the journey. And that's part of like opening yourself up to growth. Right. And if you're just going to stay closed in, which again, I don't think you are, because you're the one that typed this question in there, right? You already are opening yourself up. So I think that's good. But I'm also speaking to a lot of the students that are kind of in the same position of you, that just kind of feel like afraid to like speak up, or afraid to like admit that they are behind or that they are struggling. And, my best advice to you is like, I don't want to go as blunt as like get over it, but it's like, you got to be able to open up. You got to be willing to allow yourself to grow for you to actually grow. And if you're just going to, close on in and just try to avoid the realities of where you're at and what's going on, then yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. Is everything is just going to be avoided from you, but it's not going to go away. And it's just going to keep on, coming back. And then you're going to go through another school year that you hated math, that you were embarrassed, and that you are not going to enjoy. And I don't think that's a way for any of us or any person to go through education, if it's math class or if it's any other class. All right. And ask a question. Over the summer vacation, how much time should I set aside to study in preparation for starting? I think I had on my video, I talked about this like a couple weeks ago. I was talking about like summer vacation. I think for right now, like, I mean, I was telling students like at least we're in my county, like we're about a month out. So I think from a month out, you should it's kind of like studying for a test, right? Actually, it's kind of like the reverse studying for a test. So, well, yeah, actually, no, kind of, I mean, kind of a little the same, but we're about like 30 days out. And I think once you're about 30 days out, you should just start doing like, maybe like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, a day, or maybe like an hour, a week, and just, start going back, reviewing some material. And then in week 2, maybe like double that, right? Maybe start doing 30 minutes, a day, just reviewing going back over your old stuff that you did last year and just, doing some problems, doing some math problems. And then, then like in the 3rd week, maybe try to do like 45 minutes and then try to move it up to like an hour, like the week before. But I don't think I don't think you need to overdo it. And obviously I know there's other classes and stuff like that. You're going to definitely probably have some like some work to get ahead from to prepare for. But I definitely think if you can, put in, and also everybody has different needs, right? Depending on what class you're going into. Some classes are going to be a stress for students. Some students had a struggle from the previous year. So, everybody's needs are going to be a little different, but I can maybe say like, if you did like a, third, and just like did 15-minute intervals, like 4 weeks, right? One, do 15 minutes every day, or just do the combined. Then the next one, do 30 minutes every day. Right. And then the next one, try to do like 45 minutes and then do an hour. And I think you would be, just from going through like math content that either is preparing you for your upcoming class or reviewing your old material from the previous year, that's going to set you up for pretty good success for the upcoming year. I'm trying to learn factoring binomials. Okay. What concepts do you want to learn and teach in the future other than math? I don't really want to teach anything else besides math. I really just enjoy teaching math. So I would stick with my math. I'm not sure if this is a question, but I'm assuming. Oh, okay. I can actually add that question to you because where's my pen? Yeah. Because I have a couple of questions I'll be able to get through on here. I can go over that. I usually do not take math questions over chat, but I will. I'll make a change for this one. Please, I have a problem. I have a bully at my school every day. He hit me and take my books, and he say, "Bring your dad to take the books," but my dad is dead. What should I do? Please answer me. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm probably not the. I mean, I definitely, you need to talk to the people at your school. The teacher, the resource officer, your counselor, like anybody that's in position to actually be able to do something for you or to help you out with that. And again, condolences for your dad, and then also having to deal with the bully. But yeah, definitely speak with your teachers or your principal, anybody at the school that can address this issue correctly or swiftly. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'll look forward to your next stream. And oh God. All right. How do you solve it so quick? Oh, well, I'll go ahead. I will get through this as I'll go through it again and give you some. I will get you an explanation as well. Okay. Started back late summer and actually feeling really motivated since I had a break. Awesome. Started feeling burnt out at the end of last. Yeah, definitely. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. Like, don't try to overdo it getting into it, because again, like you're going to get into this really hard and then you're going to kind of get overwhelmed as well from on there. So, just be careful with that. Sorry. I got a lot of yawns. Okay, I just got another question. I was just looking at it. I need to get my mom to love me. I'm hoping that was a joke. I probably shouldn't be laughing at anything I was in, but it just kind of caught me off guard. There's something I was gonna say, but I will leave it. leave it in for there. Well, awesome. Any else? I'm able to help you out. So far, my summer, so far my summer break is going to look at taking programming classes, and no, it is a lot of math in it. Yeah, my biggest fear is not the math, but understanding the question. What is a good way to understand word problems? Yeah, I remember linear programming. I remember taking it, and it was just a ton of questions. To be honest, I think it's just practice. I mean, and unfortunately, with linear programming, you're going to get a lot of practice. So, you know, I don't think there's anything that I can tell you. One thing is, going to be there or back, or that's going to like open up and like change everything for you. But I think you just putting in the practice should be able to help you out from there. Oh, I was going to say, that's what I was going to say. I don't know if it's a joke or not. Hopefully it's not a joke, but if your mom doesn't love you, love her back. And remember, love can be an action, not a verb. So, show love. And yeah, that's my advice for not really just for that, but for love in general. Just watch your videos, and I didn't realize that you are in this community way back. Yeah, 2010. So, crazy time. Been teaching for a long time on the platform. All right. Papa. Yep, I will go through all the question as well. Just want to say thank you you're very welcome for that. All right, let me look at this. I got one more question that came through. I understand one part of the question. Let me actually top this because I don't want to keep on taking more questions. But you guys can also, if you didn't have a question, or if you had a question that I'm not going to be able to get to, please feel free, guys. You can also go and check out the Discord server, which I did leave the link in on the bottom. It's also in the description. Come on. Stupid. I don't know if it's like because I'm exiting in full screen. Huh. All right, now my computer doesn't want to type things out. So you sent over 2 questions, but I'm not going to be able to get to both questions. So I will just do this one that I can rewrite. H of n equals -4 plus 2. Sorry, and then I'm just going to type this up or write this out real quick for you guys, and then find h of g of -4n. Okay. All right. So I'm writing that down really quickly. I don't think I have time. I have to read. Yeah, sorry. All right, let's go and get into the math portion. I'm actually going to probably do a quicker stream for tonight. I'll get through these math questions with you guys, and then yeah, we'll get into the week. All right. So, so first question was, let me go and get rid of that. So first question is, write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So again, in slope-intercept form, guys, we're going to be writing something in y equals a mx plus b format, right? So m represents our slope, which in this case is going to be 1/4. So that is equal to an m. And then b represents our y-intercept, right? So that's going to be a -4. So this is going to be a 1/4. And b represents a -4. So I can literally just plug it in. So I can say y equals a 1/4 x plus a -4, right? So plus your b, which is your y-intercept. And then we don't really write it like this, though. We can just go ahead and rewrite plus and minus as a 1/4 x minus 4. And voila. All right, the next one was find the value of x, and this is going to be the interior sum theorem of triangles, which again is very important to recognize that all the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So therefore, I can rewrite this as an x plus a 20. And I'm just going to put these in parentheses just so we can kind of have them grouped, plus a 2x plus 10, plus an x equals 180 degrees. Okay, so now we don't really need the grouping symbols. I just wanted you to see how we have the three angles. And now we can just go ahead and combine like terms. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to regroup everything just so we kind of have the accounting done correctly. So I'm just going to rearrange everything. So we have x plus 2x plus x, right? That's going to be a 4x. Sorry, that equals 180 degrees. And that's going to be plus a 30 equals 180 degrees. Then we subtract 30 degrees. And I get 4x equals 150 degrees. Divide by 4. Divide by 4, and let's see here. So that'd be 40, 80. Oh, that's not going to go into there. So I do have a calculator. Let's see what it is going to be at. Yeah, there's a lot of questions, unfortunately, that I'm not sure which question you sent over. But not all questions am I going to be able to go over. Some are just going to, there's a couple questions that either I needed to like spend time to like look back over and like remember or like research like my explanation. And then some just aren't really going to be good for the live stream as far as like the time that they're going to take me to kind of like go through the example. So I apologize for that. I'm not sure which question you were referring to from there, but yeah, there was quite a bit of questions. Not quite a bit. There was only like 3, I think, that I wasn't able to get into from that. So I apologize for you guys. Well, hey, Hayden, how are you? And yeah, and like a lot of the other things, guys, if it's not something like I can provide a like quality explanation, at least in my opinion, then a lot of times I'm just not going to cover, those problems. Because I want to make sure that, obviously like there's a lot of tools and stuff online, right? You can definitely type something into Mathway, right? Or go to Quora, or type it into Google and get the, kind of the answer from on there. I want to make sure I can provide you guys with a decent explanation of a lot of this work. So, so we have find the derivative of negative 5x at x equals 9. So let's go ahead and differentiate. So let's do d over dx, and let's do a negative 5 over x, and then we're going to do at x equals 9. Okay, so what I would do in this case is I would just go ahead and rewrite this as a negative 5x to the negative first power, okay? And that x equals 9. So now what I can simply do is I can just go ahead and use the power rule. So when I use the power rule, I'm going to just multiply that, bring down my exponent, multiply by my coefficient. So that's going to be a 5, x to the negative second. All right. And then there is at x equals 9. That's the same thing as just rewriting this as a 5 over a x squared. Okay. And then if I want to go ahead and plug that in at x equals 9, then I can just plug a 9 in for x squared. And that's going to finally give me a 5 over an 81. All right, the next example. In this case, what you're going to want to do is get rid of your parentheses. So to go ahead and get rid of your parentheses, what you're going to want to do is distribute the 4. Okay, by distributing the 4, because again, what this parenthesis is telling us is 4 times the quantity x minus 2. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply the 4 times the x. That's going to give me 4x, and 4 times negative 2, which is going to be negative 8, which is less than 8. Now we just basically need to isolate our variable x by using our inverse operations. So we can see we're for my x is being multiplied by 4 and subtracted by 8. So we're always going to undo addition and subtraction first. So therefore, I'll add an 8 to both sides. That's going to give me a 4x is going to be less than 16. And now I'll undo multiplication of 4 by dividing by 4. And I get x is less than a 4. However, that's not going to be it, because there's many, many answers that satisfy that equation, right? There's a lot of answers that are less than 4, like 2, negative 5, 0. So we're going to want to graph this on a number line. So what I'll do is I'm just going to create a nice little number line. I'll say, like, let's say here's 4, here's 5, here's 3, right? Just like kind of snapshot there. So it says x is less than 4. So we're going to do an ISO open circle here. Okay, now less than 4 is going to be all the area over here to the left. Okay, we're going to leave that open because 4 is not less than 4. So 4 is not going to be included. All right, and then the last example, and I'm sorry, I know you kind of submitted this one. I'm not really sure. I can't copy anything back from my thing, so I'll just go ahead and do this one. You did add some commentary though. Let me see. But now I'd like to somehow multiply the function variables together. I have no idea. Okay. No, you're not multiplying them together. Basically, what this notation is the same thing as h of g of negative 4n. That's what that notation means. Okay, so that's the same thing as that. So let's go through, let's do a thing, right? What if I said G, so if we know G of n is equal to an n squared plus n, right? All right, so what if I said, what is G of negative 4? Well, what would you do? You just replace n with negative 4, right? So let's say negative 4 squared plus negative 4, right? And that's going to be what? 16 minus 4, that's equal to 12. Okay. But now that's not actually the question. Was like, this G of negative 4n. So what if you did that? So what if you did a G of negative 4n? Okay. Well, that'd be a negative 4n. That's what you're going to plug in now, squared. And that's going to be what? Plus a negative 4n. Okay. So now let's go ahead and simplify this. Negative 4n squared is going to be a 16n squared. And then that'd be minus a 4n. Okay, so that is what G of negative 4 represents. Okay, so now let's kind of go through this. Like, let's go through the H of n. So basically what this is, if I said H of, I don't know, here's H of n is equal to a negative 4n plus 2. Okay, so what if I said, what is H of 1? Well, what are you going to do? You're going to plug in, you're going to plug 1 in for the n, right? So that'd be a negative 4 times 1 plus 2. Right? So that's what? Negative 4 plus 2 is a negative 2. Okay. What if I said an H of G of X or G of N? So what would you do there? You would just plug the G of N in for the N, right? So that'd be a negative 4 times a G of N plus 2, right? You're just, whatever your input value is, that's what you're plugging that in there. Well, now here's the problem though. This says H of G negative 4n. Now again, what do we know G of negative 4n is? It's right here, right? So then what you're simply going to do is you're going to plug this in for your n. So if I have H of n is negative 4n plus 2, then H of G to the negative 4n, oops, that's simply just going to be equal to G to the negative 4n is just going to be where is this? A negative 4 times a 16n squared minus a 4n and then plus 2. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and distribute. And let's see, negative 4 times 16 is going to be negative 32. It's going to be negative 64. N squared, negative 4 times negative 4 is going to be a positive 16n plus 2. Okay, oh, come on, plus 2. And there you go. That's basically what we got here. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm actually going to end the stream a little bit earlier. Thank you so much for joining me on tonight, but I will be back again tomorrow, or not tomorrow. I will be again back next week. And again, guys, if you do have any other math questions that you guys are, as you're starting to be going ready for next year, then please feel free to go ahead and submit them at brianmclogan.com/Q&A. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week at 9 p.m. to answer your questions, help you out. All right, guys, have a great week. Cheers.